Hello and welcome to Tag Craftiest Maximus. And this one we got Blackheart versus Crazed. And Blackheart saying he does not really like this one. Crazed doesn't like it either. I actually think it's not the worst one. And Crazed said that's why I play Sentence. Looks like first land. First land. Blackheart lamenting that he's got worse at this game. Still puts him way ahead of everybody else, but that's his opinion. See how well he does against Craze. Crazed was Cybern against UEF. On this map, I think quickness could be a big advantage for Craze. Let's see if he can use it. Some interesting things in the middle. I'm not really sure what that means, but a lot of water, a lot of different expansion. You cannot play a turtle on this. You gotta go grab the mass structures. Plus, you do not want to neglect some of these rocks. Those who really do help in Navy. Navy is a game ender. And looks like this engineer's got all kinds of plans. Interesting position on these factories. A little further out of sight. Let's see how quickly Blackheart realizes those are constructed. Engineer, second air, and a lot of power. This is another map where power spam becomes quite critical once you start getting expansions. And that's one of my main problems when I play this game, is how to balance that power. On some maps it's obvious that you're going to get a lot of mass, but some maps it's really dependent on how well your expansions go. So you want to be able to control that. But I don't know what's worse, over making power or power stall. Of course, the extremes of both is the worst, but there goes that scout. Crazed. Gets the first kills. First single kill. It's a good aggressive engineer from Blackheart. Looks like it, it's just mass extractors, no naval factories yet. No bombers from either player. I gotta say, the gesture is going to be extremely powerful if Craze chooses to build it. Slow it down a little bit. So dubious. I think that one map that Blackheart likes is dubious and ridiculous. This map is so much better than that green piece of shit. I don't even know what it's called. The one with green and dirt and mud in the middle, all spread out. This is like way beyond that. This actually has terrain, trees, reclaim. It looks like Blackheart here, maybe a little micro against the Mantis. Very even. The Mantis runs away. Another striker here from Blackheart needs to get on the case before this Mantis starts getting vet. 30 health left. 2 shots from the striker should take care of that. And the ACUs. Very similar positions, maybe a little quicker for Crazed. Crazed actually just sitting there doing nothing. Blackheart getting an advanced factory. He's going to get a lot of engineers. He's going to grab this reclaim. Navy. Navy factory complete for Crazed. Now we're going to see a battle on the bottom and up on top. And it looks like Crazed is going to take out an engineer. Nobody taking these little islands, and Hydra's here, something not to neglect. And now Navy is going to be produced here for Blackheart. So Blackheart will use this ACU to grab the bottom left corner. Craze will grab the top right, and Blackheart a bit ahead with this factory, although now there's also a factory for Crazed. The striker gets in, 3 kills will be taken care of. And now a move through the middle from Blackheart. How can you not like this? I mean, there's all this different terrain to play with. Get on top of these. Actually, no player climbing onto the... Okay, there's this clicking noise. I wonder where that's coming from. I guess if I shake my head in disapproval, you guys get some weird noises. Yeah, on top of these, looks like finally Craze decides to get on top. Put some radar, some anti-air. Some arty. Good looking force from Craze. As long as he avoids the ACU, has the potential to deny a lot. He's going to at least deny the Hydra. Couple nice Manti. Denying mass extractors from Crazed, and Blackheart just throws a whole bunch of units directly at Crazed base. This was not a surprise. Crazed saw that force move it in with his inties, and he's going to use his Manti to defend. I think eventually he should be able to defend, although at this point I think Blackheart has the numbers. But quick reinforcements, which are produced right there, are going to make it difficult for Blackheart. Blackheart will retreat. A successful attack from Craze denied all this. 2 Hydros, 6 mass extractors. These hero units are going to try to make it back home. Doesn't look like it. Looks like 4 of them might. So victories all over the place for Craze. Really got to say it's been because of the Mantis quickness, and Craze using that quickness. So now, very even in terms of mass production. We do see some Tech 2 mass extractors. Actually, these ones, if you lose Navy, this whole base is very much exposed unless you're facing Seraphim destroyers. Some submarines from Blackheart and submarines from Crazed. See any Tech 2 yet? We might see some Tech 2 here soon, especially for Blackheart, because he has been losing these land battles. And a big force now amassing in the middle from Crazed. He might choose to move that through the middle. Point defense going up. Blackheart just might finish it in time. Will he finish it in time? And looks like he will. But Crazed is going to get some Medusas. Yeah, he's going to prevent the construction of all the walls, but still, point defense will deny. Crazed forced to pull back. A probing force from Blackheart. And a submarine battle that Blackheart has won. Up on top, though, 3 submarines from Crazed are going to be denying the naval production. But there is some problems for Crazed on the bottom. And now you can see this map is awesome. A lot of action everywhere. Tech 2 land now for Blackheart. Point defenses. Actually, if you get point defenses here, it makes it quite easy to hold on to your main base. Hold all these chokes. Looks like both players finally grabbed those positions. Some drops from Crazed. Actually, drops from Blackheart as well. And it appears that Crazed will win this naval battle on the bottom, which means that the Navy overall is going Crazed favor. Crazed has single Tech 2 mass extractor, but it does look like Crazed is behind in terms of mass production, which could be a bit surprising. Blackheart, a fairly even battle going on, and total air control so far from Crazed. I'm surprised he hasn't used it. Well, actually, no, never mind. There is a significant air force from Blackheart as well. And thinking back from all the games I've seen from Blackheart, I don't think I've ever seen him not have air control. He always has a lot of air. Perhaps something to take. So Blackheart now needs to recover with the Navy. He needs to get a couple more naval factories. And interestingly, both players taking each other's expanding islands a little quicker for Blackheart. Tech 2 mass extractors underwater, so Craze thinking that Navy is the most secure place for him to store his excess mass invested into mass extractors. Point defense finally down, and a huge force from Crazed is going to go into the middle. We might see a big battle in the middle. Blackheart putting a lot of units in the middle with a couple pillars in the mix, some Tech 2 flak as well. But numbers for Crazed, and also the Medusas, which are so powerful in these crammed positions. It's been submarines from both players. Most obvious unit, the best Tech 1 anti-naval. You want a secure Navy, you make Tech 1 submarines. Actually, torpedo launcher from Blackheart. See, there's another drop here. Looks like it's going to be a counter drop from Craze. It's going to be challenging for those islands, and a counter drop for Blackheart. Both players mirror images of each other, and Craze now taking the lead in terms of mass production. And a lot of that is the naval mass extractors. These submarines have been some of the best raiders in this game. But we got to anticipate that on land, Blackheart should grab some victories, because he does have Tech 2. Tech 2 power now for Blackheart. He is already ahead of power. And now nothing in the middle. And a good looking base now for Blackheart. He's got Tech 2 radar. Let's actually see his radar coverage now. Yeah, this Tech 2 radar is great. He knows exactly what's going on in Crazed base. Cruise missiles might actually be a good idea as well. But he does have to worry about Navy. And Tech 2 point defenses here as well means he can cover both of these chokes. And on the islands, it's 3-3. Still very even. And only Tech 1. Finally, Tech 2 land from Crazed. He's got Tech 2 engineers. Crazed beginning to... I think Crazed just gave up the middle there. Cruise missiles. Cruise missiles from Crazed. They're coming in, and they're not going to be stopped. And no TMD from Blackheart. He's going to lose these Tech 2 mass extractors. Big losses for Blackheart. Blackheart now in a significant disadvantage in terms of mass production. And his Navy is having all kinds of problems. His submarines still going to work on the mass extractors. More submarines on the way. So Blackheart has to do something with this advantage that he has on land as soon as possible. Another counter drop from Blackheart. More cruise missiles flying in. Not sure what the target's going to be. There's some TMD going up. This will be a great target. I'm sure that could be hit. Some Tech 1 mass extractors getting taken out. Not a good choice. I believe each missile costs 200 mass. Kind of disappointing from these pillars. I really do think that Blackheart could have pushed through the middle if he got all of his forces and attacked Crazed base directly. But now Craze does have some Tech 2 on the field. He's got some Tech 2 power as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blackheart decides to get some cruise missiles of his own. Although it doesn't look like he's doing that. He's just got the gun and Tech 2 on the ACU. He's going to push with his ACU. And this could be good. A lot of build capacity now going toward naval production. Crazed is going to go Tech 2 Navy. And a lot of Medusa fire. Out of curiosity, let's check out the ratio. It's 2-to-1 Medusas to Manti. I guess that's how Craze plays defense. Tech 2 point defenses and Medusas. And Blackheart now pushing on all fronts as the submarine force from Craze continues to dominate. Some Tech 2 mass extractors here going down. Let's see what this is going to be. The unit cruisers would be awesome. Destroyers. It's going to be a massacre here from Crazed. This is really good defensive position. Blackheart with some overcharges. These Tech 2 point defenses, imagine more are going up. This is where on this map, Tech 2 point defenses in this position are so powerful. See Blackheart understanding how to play defense on this map. Perfect places for his Tech 2 point defenses. He should be able to hold on. It'll take a lot of effort from Blackheart to make it past these. He will still lead with his ACU. And the Tech 1 subs for Crazed, I think, are going to deny Navy completely. And losing Navy here is very bad. Blackheart not getting hit by Good tech to point defenses on his ACU. 44 kills, 18,000 total health. And this is where Medusa's doing so well. He frees the units, and when they're trying to get around the corners, you get a big traffic jam, and then the arty just decimates them. But this right here, some of the best looking tech to point defenses in a long time. The Blackheart continues to push in, and the lack of air for Blackheart, I think, is showing. A couple of Janus bombers here perhaps would be nice, but those are of course quite expensive. One tech to power. In terms of power, both players very even, but in terms of mass, now double for Crazed. Now it looks like a successful push. This would be great if Craze can take that out. No, those are going to fly away. And a cruiser for Crazed Chariot. And so much reclaim for Crazed if he wants it. And now it appears that Crazed is going to go directly after Blackheart, who's going to pull back with some units. There's Tech 2 in the ACU versus ACU. And a whole bunch of point defenses. This could be desperation now for Blackheart. He's getting hit from the Navy. He will come in with air to see what he's looking at. And now Blackheart's ACU will be targeted. Yeah, and he's going to go quite low on health now, 10,000 health. He does move in. He needs to take out those point defenses as soon as possible. But imagine these are going to get a lot of kills. Blackheart's still getting hit, also getting hit from Navy. Multiple Tech 2 Navy hitting his ACU. Really no losses for Crazed. And it looks like Crazed is going to get this victory after 20 minutes. Blackheart doing some dodging. I gotta say, for this map, what we've seen, the placement of those tech to point defenses from Crazed and then winning Navy were the keys. Hopefully people enjoyed this one. Hello and welcome to Forbidden Pass. It's annoying. This one, Blackheart against Craze Chariot again. This one, what the hell is that noise? Hopefully you guys can't hear that. But Cyber versus EF once again. Second air, standard on this map. No Aiton, that's good. I believe Blackheart said he never played this map before. So he's back on the ladder, seeing all the new maps, and so far it doesn't look like he's liking them too much. Craze 7 P-Gens. And the Hydra here on this map, it's a little far. So getting 7 P-Gens is good, but you can get away with 6 or 5 if you rush the Hydra with some engineers. Actually looks like that might be something that Blackheart's doing. So he's already built 2. He's going with 6. So even though he's never played this map before, he realizes that the distance to this Hydra will allow him to use 6 P-Gens. Which either he has played this map before or he is really good. Which it could be the latter, of course. And one thing about these positions, I'll speed this up at first, is there are some rocks on this side which don't exist on the other side, so it could be a little bit imbalanced. And the expansions, of course, are really good expansions. And they're not even, so there's a lot of relatively empty space in terms of mass extractors, and suddenly you get a whole bunch more once again. So getting those expansions is critical, and you don't get a lot of stuff on your way to the expansion. So a little different from Theta, where the little more map you get, the little more mass extractors you get. Here you really got to hold some positions. A lot like Loki. I think if you had to compare this would be like Loki, but a little better for Aiton than Loki, which makes this map extremely good for Aiton. Interceptors for Crazed. Interceptors for Blackheart, no bombers. Scout. So Blackheart seems to really always open with Scout. Gonna try not to get that killed. He'll see if there's any raids coming in, any bombers. Then he can choose what to do next. No bombers yet, it looks like, from Blackheart. Nope. A scout and 5 interceptors on repeat build. This engineer and this engineer are critical. Same for Craze. And now actually this engineer way up ahead. This will be a great target. You can see the defense from Craze with a Mantis. But there is a striker here playing defense. So these two groups are critical. Defending and perhaps raiding. This is a very quick engineer from Craze. And a Mantis for Craze. He's going to be trying to defend the right side. This is a very juicy part of the map you really don't want to neglect. There are some engineers moving in from Blackheart into that position. Blackheart, never having to play the game, playing this map, realizes he's got to walk his ACU as soon as possible on the other side of the river. Get these 4 mass extractors. I guess it's obvious for some people to do that. You see Craze, who has played this map before, does the exact same thing. An air victory for Blackheart. Let's see how Blackheart will use this air advantage if he switches to bombers. Now he's just going to continue make interceptors. Continue to make. Usually my English is not this bad. And Blackheart actually a pretty big assault through the bottom. He will secure this area. Not too much stuff happening to the top. Actually, no defense whatsoever. So these Manti can do a lot of damage against Blackheart. Chariot getting some factories across. A point defense for Blackheart. So very similar. The big difference is air control for Blackheart and a victory, a major victory, which he's turning into an assault. Now there's only one land factory really producing Manti. Trying to get a point defense up as soon as possible, but Blackheart will keep on rolling through. And another scout from Blackheart gets killed. In terms of power production, Blackheart quite a bit ahead. And interesting, he's got 3 engineers on the power spam. This is nice. Especially given that he's got so many mass extractors, he needs those. But in terms of mass, dead even. But low power for Craze. That'll be very difficult for Craze to play like this. And he's actually now power stalling. Blackheart also power stalling, but not as bad. It appears that both players having very similar success. A nearly mirror images point defense and a disaster. And then the ACU getting across. One difference though is Blackheart did secure this area much better with a couple of point defenses. Meanwhile, Craze looks like he's going to expand and try to grab that position. That's the typical route for the ACUs. Let's see where Blackheart decides to go. Looks like he's going to go directly at Craze base. There are no Medusas. This point defense will be very effective. And some bombers now for Blackheart. Let's see what else Blackheart is. Oh, Tech 2 Air coming up for Blackheart. He's not nearly at 700 power. He's got a single Tech 2 mass extractor. A Tech 2 mass extractor for Craze as well. Even though he had all those power problems. And now he's recovered them. And now it looks like both players are in the process of solving their issues on the top and bottom of the map. And it is going to, for the most part, be divided across the Z, with the ACUs claiming a little bit of these corners. Blackheart will retreat. They'll just secure the area on the right. And while these bombers, very effective, shooing away Manti from Craze. And Tech 2 Air with gunships. So Blackheart, realizing he has had air control, is going to go to gunships. This will be very difficult for Craze to counter because this is a very spread out map. And really all you can do to counter them is to win air, which means he'll have to make more interceptors, but he does not have either the build capacity or the power to do it. Although no, this is all land. Only 2 air factories, not too many engineers around the air factories. Craze is in this mode where he's making Tech 2 mass extractors. Meanwhile, Blackheart I probably gotta stop calling him a defensive player, because this is not a defensive move. Tech to air with gunships. Where the heck are those gunships? Is he using them yet? Instead of tech to mass extractors, here's at least one gunship. And some bombers as well. There is no point defense here, so Blackheart will take that easily. Crazed ACU is a bit lost, it seems. And now this gunship, still no kills. More gunships on the way. A lot of build capacity on the air factory. And let's see, Crazed. One difference between Crazed and Aiton is that Craze does not run into tech 1 point defenses, which makes it a lot more difficult for his enemies. But here come the gunships from Blackheart. Some flak going up for Crazed. And two gunships easily take on one tech 1 flak, but I think Blackheart here will need to retreat. Attack somewhere else. But now this group, yeah, this is a lot of build capacity on the gunships now. And they'll just attack random places. And Crazed, take it back, Crazed attacks take 1 point defenses. When put under pressure, he begins to play like Aiton. And now Blackheart with a significant victory on the right side, which will expose the whole bottom, especially with the gunships moving in. Will take out any defensive positions. An attack from Crazed without any flak means gunships will easily counter it. And I think what we've seen on this map, the Blackheart showing that air wins this one. And yeah, Crazed realizing that he's screwed. So after 13 minutes, Blackheart beating Crazed on a map he has never played before. Hello and welcome to Via. In this one we got Blackheart versus Crazed Chariot. Of course, Crazed Chariot had that epic against Zoc. And I mean, anybody from GPGnet has played this map many times. Blackheart is the not the defender. The enemy of the civilians in the middle. Doesn't get killed by the point defenses for no reason. Going with UEF, second air, 7 pigeons. Very similar for Crazed, who might actually get a couple more pigeons. Curious to see. He's going to get 9 pigeons before air. Let's see if that works out for him. And yeah, 2 mass extractors. Speed this up at first. Yeah, this game was right after the game that was the one on tag Craftiest Maximus, where Crazed won. See if Blackheart can get some retribution. Jan, yeah, Jan is one player we have not seen at all since the patch. He was really famous for that ridiculous Mantis micro, where the Manti would just come out of nowhere and never stop. Crazed assisting with an engineer. This is something you can only do when you have a bit of reclaim like Craze does right there. You can see he's got 555 reclaimed already, only 340 in the bank. But that does put him in a nice position in terms of power. And now interceptors, of course. Scouts, here comes a scout from Blackheart. So quicker air, quicker recon, but a little more power for Craze, who's now ahead. And actually Blackheart has caught up. Now it's very hard to call because there is a lot of reclamation going on, but basically dead even on power now. A couple land factories for Crazed, and Crazed getting a factory in the middle with a raider, which means he's gonna go after civs kind of early. Both ACUs are gonna meet once again on the bottom, so a lot very similar to that Aiton game, in case people haven't watched that cast, which should come out before this one. 3 engineers on the power spam. I think eventually you want like 4 or 5, unless you're really being denied the map control. And then you want to make a lot of air and a lot of Tech 2 mass extractors with land, with a lot of land as well. We'll make a whole bunch of stuff on this map as fast as possible. More so than most others, I guess. Now we're on minute 6, and actually not too much battling except a lot of scouting. Both players grabbing their mass extractors. And Blackheart actually pausing his air production, having some problems with power. Craze to not having problems with power, but he's not using all of his mass. Perhaps more engineers. Well, we saw when we saw Aiton, when he had that power spam, he just paused everything, put like 7 engineers on power spam, recovered rather fast. And Blackheart now moving in, and a pull back. Craze thinking about attacking the point defenses with Manti, but thinks better of it. Blackheart looks to grab that expansion with a slow engineer. And nobody's grabbing the right expansion. Well, Craze finally sending some engies in that direction. Craze looking to take out the point defense. To walk in. And now that the action is starting here, I gotta slow it down. Crazed, yeah, getting a lot more power now. So is Blackheart. Tech 2 land coming up for Blackheart. Couple sneaky Manti. But really no losses for either player. This is good. This is what you want to do. If you sneak a couple of units here, you'll deny engineers coming in. But looks like this engineer snuck through. Some Tech 2 engies. Crazed has broken through this point defense. So I anticipate engineers. Well, actually multiple point defenses. So it looks like Craze is going to grab the mass in the middle. There are some RT here standing by for Blackheart, but he hasn't given him order to attack the civs. So Crazed here actually even more aggressive toward the civs than Blackheart. So there is no hope for the civs. A whole bunch of Tech 2 mass extractors. Oh, Blackheart, well, actually Crazed, upgrading so fast. He's upgrading so fast that he does not have the power. Blackheart significantly ahead in terms of power, and he has just enough. So in terms of balance of the economy, Blackheart quite a bit better. But I think this boost right here will give Crazed a very big advantage. 6,000 now in the bank. Craze needs to get Tech 2 power as soon as possible. He's not getting it. His ACU is at Tech 2. Meanwhile, a rather large force from Blackheart moving in. And Tech 2 land for Blackheart on the other side. And this point defense, will it be complete? That was as close as you can possibly have, but no walls, which means his Manti should take care of it. A lot of loss now for Blackheart. He's lost the expansion, although the expansion for Craze also rather exposed. And what we're seeing is that both players not putting too much into the expansion. They think that just teching might be the better way to go. Much safer. They'll grab it, but they won't put too much defense into it. Instead, we're seeing Blackheart really switching up his factories to Tech 2. So not too many total factories. You might see much bigger spams from Voodoo in terms of Tech 1. But with the NG mod, I think players on the larger maps realizing you don't have to stay at Tech 1 stage for too long. And there's no reason to keep your factories at Tech 1. One other thing people, I think, are slowly realizing is that Tech 2 engineers are a little better now. And another thing, I was looking at the database, which kind of confused me. I think the build capacity on the mass extractors is actually higher now. I think it's twice what it used to be, but people please double check that. which means you don't have to assist them as much anymore. If that's a change, it was kind of sneakily snuck in. Multiple Tech 3 mass extractors from Craze. So we've seen a game of teching now. A lot more Tech 1 than Tech 2 for Craze, but he's got huge economy. So let's see if Blackheart can do something with that Tech 2, get map control. He is in a position to grab at least the top expansion and deny the bottom. Still going after the civs, but the civs now belong to Craze. Still a bit of actually quite a few mass extractors still left over, and a bunch of reclaim that you can still get, dead even on power, but a significant 20 mass advantage. And more Tech 3 mass extractors. So Craze not stopping, he's just taking like a madman. I do anticipate him switching to Tech 3 here shortly, but I don't know. I don't want to question Craze, but it seems dangerous to just tech like this against UEF. Eventually you will make it to the Tech 3 stage and you'll be facing the Percy. But in any case, if you just have a better eco air, is usually the way to beat UEF at the late stage. If you just battle it out bricks versus Percys, you will lose. And here, the pillars showing their worth. The best way to use 200 mass right there is a pillar. And a large Tech 2 force now going in. Let's see if Blackheart can make Crazed pay and Tech 3 land. Okay, so Crazed, Tech 3 land, just in case an HQ in a very strange place. This could be very dangerous for Crazed if he loses that. Definitely not the most secure part of his base, way on the top in the left corner. Blackheart showing that he runs into point defenses like every other mortal out there, with the pillars running through. And this is where terrain becomes critical, understanding how the units move in this game. Don't want to get them separated. And here we can see Blackheart getting separated. Good placement on the point defenses. And loyalists are now getting built up. I think, yeah, that Tech 2 force I think could have done a lot more damage if it would have gone after the HQ. Let me get back to regular view here. Not good intel from Blackheart. If you would have taken out that HQ, went through here instead of going through the middle where now there's some support from Craze from the other side. Meanwhile, Blackheart grabbing map control. And another support Tech 3 factory. I wonder if Blackheart actually knows the HQ is there. He has no idea that the HQ is there. Blackheart a little bit ahead in terms of power. Has a massive Tech 1 Air Force. No gunships yet from Crazed. Or, sorry, Crazed actually does have gunships. No gunships from Blackheart. And Titan's rolling in, but eventually, as expected, the loyalists have stopped that Tech 2 assault. Could have been so much better. Very disappointing Tech 2 assault. Just left a whole bunch of reclaim. Didn't even really take out any mass extractors or anything of value. Didn't even kill this Tech 1 point defense. 10 kills on that one. So Blackheart finds himself, actually he's recovered. He's teched so quick. He is now even in terms of mass, and another reason he's even in terms of maps, he's got a lot more of the map. So not being lazy, grabbing whatever is given to him. He's actually grabbing the middle as well. And he's now surpassing Chariot in terms of mass production. But Chariot does have the benefit of all the dead Tech 2 units from Blackheart. And now an air battle. Blackheart taking air control will deny the gunships. And this Titan here, nearly dead. 60 health. He has as much health as a light assault bot from, actually is a little less than light assault bot. 3 kills. He needs to do something before he dies. Counterattack the loyalists. Running through, pushing back against the Tech 2 forces of Blackheart. Blackheart trying to get, he's going all Tech 3. There is a little bit of defense here, but those Factories need to get a Tech 3 as soon as possible. Let's see what Blackheart is making from those. He's going straight Percy's. It'll take a long time to get Percy's with this Tech 3 force knocking on Blackheart's door. Percy's on the other side. Yep. And these loyalists, let's see, this Crazed have the intel to know that, no, he has no radar, he has no idea. Crazed, after 18 minutes, has never scouted Blackheart's base. And I ask, what the fuck? I apologize, but it's insane. It's Craze. You're supposed to be like the greatest player ever. This is the right move. But really, I mean, scouting, I guess it doesn't matter in this case. And Blackheart, he gambled there. He thought he could get those Percy's out in time, but he did not. Huge loss now for Blackheart. He needs to do something to recover. There is also Tech 2 flak. I guess Craze not scouting, but not making the mistake of not bringing flak. Always bring flak. Show them you care. Blackheart getting Tech 3 power. So one thing that Blackheart does have, he does have a lot more power. So perhaps switching up to Tech 3 air very quickly, getting a couple strats, dropping a couple bombs on this. And this is not where you want to lose. Okay, so Crazed is in a position to go directly into Blackheart's base. Blackheart needs to get Percy's on the case as soon as possible. A lot of point defense is going up. If Blackheart loses that, he's down to basically his only base, where his ACU is, which does look quite good, but not enough. And this expansion should fall soon. Percy's now moving in. I want to see a whole bunch of Percy's here. Otherwise, these loyalists, a whole bunch of vets here as well. And the thing that Crazed can do to screw up is not attack. And now he is going to attack. Use the fact that Percy's are slow. These Percy's not going in the right direction. And what we're seeing over and over, that the top players make mistakes. And this is something that I always lament about. If we had a lot more players, we can get the level of this game so much higher. It'll get so much better because there's still so much room. I think that's one of the things that Uber used to say, is that this is a huge ceiling to this game. Still huge mistakes from the best players. There's one player would be nice to have back. Is my camera still screwed up? It's like yeah, my camera was a little screwed up. Interesting. Crazed not deciding to go directly in. Has he scouted yet? Still not scouted, but he anticipated point defenses. And I will go ahead and ask the question, why hasn't Craze scouted? I mean, he hasn't had air control in a long time, but I guess he's busy doing other things. Another thing that's a bit surprising, perhaps Crazed could attack that expansion. Now we're seeing Loyalists versus Percy's. And actually one thing that the Loyalists can do, if they die close to the Percy's, that does put the freeze on the Percy's, at least for a little while. But just 4 Percy's here that came in, they cleaned up. And I think with some scouting there, Craze could have used his units a lot better. Now Craze going with some gunships. Blackheart continues to make power, but Crazed is way ahead in terms of mass production. He's getting even more Tech 3 mass extractors. He's sitting on 7. He's probably going to get 8 here pretty soon. 6,000 mass in the bank. And the only advantage for Blackheart is air. He's now got Tech 3. And a spider now. And we got to say, this if Blackheart scouts this, this is really not that secure. There are a couple loyalists coming back. But if Blackheart just, you can go straight shot through the middle. It's a very short distance. Send disperses. There's Tech 3 power here. Tech 3 HQ. There's a spider. But maybe with bombers, that could be a good move. Because otherwise Crazed is way ahead in terms of mass. He's not caught up on power. And we might, yeah, we're going to see transition to Tech 3 from Crazed, which means we will see Tech 3 air battles here shortly. Blackheart going with transports, which are also good anti-air, anti-ground, really a multi-purpose unit from UEF. Let's check out the cost actually on one of those. It costs 1400 mass, 52,000 power, and then in contrast it's basically the same cost as a Tech 3 gunship. It does a lot less damage than a Tech 3 gunship against land, but the health on one of these things is 3,000 in the shield, 4,500. It's going to put a bunch of Percies, 6 Percies per transport. Let's actually check out the health on a gunship. It's 6,000. So a little more health on these transports, and they have the shields which recover much faster. So Blackheart. This is a whole bunch of that's what we're seeing is ASF versus transports. This could be a tragedy unfolding before our eyes. Yep. First transport goes down. Let's see if the second one goes down. Is this? Oh, this is a power issue for Blackheart. The shield goes on and off. These Percies will get dropped off, and you can see they're going after Crazed, the ACU, but the spider is next to Crazed. Oh, this is a nice placement. Oh. I think those Percies were shooting ground there for a second. The spider trying to stay underneath. Strat bombers, perhaps? Anything? I mean, this ACU is out in the open. Meanwhile, we're seeing an assault with loyalists and bricks. Blackheart making it even more. Tech 3 power, and I think, yeah, that's, and yet another drop. And if it was just a little out of position, these Percies will try to chase Crazed. So Blackheart playing quite well, just not quite well enough. Crazed will now make it under a shield. There's also a megalith nearly complete here. Yeah, if that drop was right there, it would have been game over. Meanwhile, an assault with bricks. These transports getting killed. Yet another drop coming in from Blackheart. And this could actually be dangerous. Will that be a successful drop? Yep. Crazed will get hit. An overcharge. Was that an overcharge? I think it may have been. And Craze now stuck on a mass extractor. And that's part of the game, I guess. And Megalith is finished. Craze down to 5,000 health. Another shot. Craze down to 4,000. A couple loyalists. If those were Percies, may have been different. But now the Megalith takes care of the issue. Blackheart finds his base getting ran over. Extremely close there at the very end. And I really think that Blackheart panicked there a little bit. He had UEF, and if he would have scouted, he had some really weak points to a Crazed base. He wasn't really that far behind. It was just looked like desperation moves, which didn't quite work out. They could have, but the execution wasn't there. Some strats. If this could have all happened simultaneously, It would have been great, but now the strats are a little late. So Blackheart's still in the game. Still has a lot of his economy, but does have units running through his base. These 3 bricks are a major problem. Looks like some strats are on the case. Too much sentence is the excuse from Blackheart. That was extremely close. And looks like Blackheart, deciding that this game is out of his reach, throws in the towel. So hopefully people enjoy this. Hello, welcome to Badlands. In this one we got Blackheart versus Aiton. Aiton, perhaps the best Aiton, or the best player among the players who play exclusively Aiton. So he should be close to top 10, somewhere on that boundary. Taking on Blackheart, who's got issues because he's been playing too much sentence. Should be a lesson to everybody. Also should be a lesson to try to, well, actually I don't really know, but put yourself in difficult positions in team games. So Aiton going second air with 6 pigeons, so Hydro is in the works. Looks like this engineer not going to get the Hydra, going to get mass extractors. And these rocks here, each one of those is quite light, but there's a lot of them there. So if you want to do some manual reclaim, you can actually get quite a bit of mass early on. Blackheart is going to go with the ACU to the Hydra. Second air, big power spam after this. This engineer would be great to take out so many plants. But Aiton versus UEF. See how this works out. And take 3 land on this map, I think, is almost always featured in any close game. So this will be interesting. Aiton with an Aurora takes care of the problem. Multiple Auroras going in either direction. Interesting, that was an anticipation. And Blackheart does do the standard on quite a few maps, this one as well. He comes in with a mech marine rather quick. And the different places to attack with mech marine. Usually mech marines go through here and try to deny the Hydra. So that is the place to anticipate a raid. Another one, of course, is through the back, which is usually quite effective. And in the back here, it's a lot of places you can hide your light assault bots. So it looks like just 2 defensive Auroras on either side for Aiton. Let's see how it looks like to him. So up the middle, most obvious thing. Some air now for Aiton, air for Blackheart. And this is where perhaps Blackheart will try to use his really good air skills, get air control. And one thing we are seeing from Blackheart, very fast ACU. He went to the Hydro and then he went to the 4th expansion. 2 engineers on the power span for Blackheart. Very even power production from these 2 players. 2 engineers on the land. 2 engineers on land. Extremely even in terms of rating, absolutely nothing. A little more interceptors for Blackheart, it seems. Not really sure why. It does look like there's some assisting from Aiton to try to get his numbers up. And actually now he's got 5. Meanwhile Blackheart has 6. And Blackheart power stalling. It must have been all in the mass. Now Aiton a little ahead in terms of mass production. Pushing up ahead with his Auroras, and this is where Blackheart will have to be very careful with the strikers, no mistakes. And until he wins area, the bomber is really not going to be a factor. 2 ECUs across from each other. A point defense for Aiton, trying to cover the corner. Walls. This is always good. Blackheart loves his walls. Doesn't want anything sneaking in. But in the middle, this is where we're having the main battle. Blackheart will pull all of his units together. So is Aiton. Looks like all 4 hydras taken for Blackheart. Aiton a bit behind. He's not taking this hydra. And actually, Aiton here, a very porous base. And an attack move. Aiton is retreating. This is where I think retreating, if you have the time to do it, if you take the front units from Aiton and retreat, and take the back ones and push them forward, you have the 2-line situation instead of grabbing a whole group like this, which is all spread out. But now this looks like an attack move from Aiton. Aiton is one of those players I do not want to question in terms of micro. Definitely somebody to learn from, and so far he's having a lot of success. And it does look like he has numbers. Nice factory attack move from Blackheart. Tech 2 engineers. Tech 2 land. Aiton going quick. Tech 2 land. Very defensive for Blackheart. He's getting point defenses. Tech 2 land as well. Tech 2 engineers. And Aiton looking to sneak through. He's going to run into the ACU. He's got to change direction. He doesn't want to keep running there. ACU and point defense is nothing good. He will now pull back, continue the domination. A lot of reclaim in the middle. Good control from Aiton. Another group of units standing by. This one has blazes and shields. Aiton, one big difference, I mean, Aiton has invested a little bit into defense, but a lot more defensive structures for Blackheart. And now we're seeing Tech 2 power, Tech 2 mass extractors. Now I believe Aiton has actually been upgrading. He's got 4 Tech 2 mass extractors power problems. I think Blackheart has at least 4. He's got more than 4. Blackheart is now ahead, and he's going to grab at least one of these top expansions. Tech 2 point defense is going up. Some mongoose on the case. Blazes from Aiton leading the charge. Also a shield that is now going on and off because of power problems. And Tech 1 Arty. If you're attacking a position like this, always want to include some Tech 1 Arty from Aiton. Knocks down any stationary defensive positions very quickly. And I think Blackheart here underestimated this force. He thought it was going to be all Auroras, but it's not just Auroras. These blazes are now very good, plus the shield, bringing a lot of health into the mix. And this HQ, if it falls, it'll be a significant loss. This is as bad as it could have gone for Blackheart. He needs to recover. Some Tech 1 point defenses are going up. See if Aiton can control. The HQ is down. And the difference has been that Blackheart upgraded a little more mass extractors, didn't make enough Tech 2. And Aiton attacked the least defended place, which turned out to also be the most valuable. See, Blackheart has defensive places everywhere else, but and it looks like with the ACU back in business, back in the starting position, Blackheart will recover. Meanwhile, Aiton, big power spam. Anticipate him going to Tech 2 air. He's got a cruise missile launcher. This is really good, and this is what Aiton is thinking. He just took out the HQ. There's not going to be a lot of Tech 2 engineers, and that means not a lot of TMD, which means he gets to take free shots, and he's got air control. This is the new HQ. It's way out of position. Tech 2 engineers way out of position, and we're now seeing, yep, missiles against Tech 2 mass extractors. The economy for Blackheart is now going to be crashing. And another group of units from Aiton rolling through, and this time they're bringing obsidians with them. 2 shields and a whole bunch of obsidians. This is a lot more scary. This wall was skirted, didn't do its job, and the internal organs of Blackheart's base are all exposed. He's got all kinds of problems, although he did grab those sides, which is something good, and he's got a lot of reclaim. But you see all those dead mass extractors. That's this cruise missile launcher. 3 kills, but 3 big kills. Another missile standing by. And now this tech to 4 obsidians. And a couple shields versus pillars. And I think that this Aiton force will win. And another group of units moving through. Unrelenting from Aiton. More point defenses for Blackheart. And I think that Blackheart might be in a place where he will lose yet another HQ. Tech 3 land from Aiton. 4 Tech 2 power generators. Tech 2 air. Gunships coming out. See, this has been a good point defense. Doesn't look like Aiton's paying attention. He needs to. He does have some artillery taking care of it. I don't want to lose those obsidians for no reason. And this other group, these mongoose are they just don't have the firepower to deal with this type of assault. And with this huge power advantage that Aiton does have, he can take a couple factories and start spamming shields, which will make his forces a lot better than Blackheart's for a long time. Here come some Harbies as well. Although this is a good looking mongoose force. Now mongoose in large numbers beginning to recover. Gunships on the case. Aiton, this has been great. Tech 1 land assault, Tech 2 land assault, cruise missiles, Tech 2 air. He's throwing everything at Blackheart, and he's absolutely dominating the economy now. Big hole directly in the middle of Blackheart's. Actually, Blackheart has not much left, except a bunch of dead units, which is also good. Yet another HQ. Still a bunch of Tech 2 mass extractors, but only 43 mass for Blackheart. Shouldn't have mass problems because he can reclaim. He's at 20,000. Power, though, a major problem. You can see only 7,000 reclaim for Aiton, 13,000 extra for Blackheart. Some flat going up. That gunship force shouldn't have too much problems. This is a significant air force from Blackheart. He might use it to win air. Harvey standing by in the middle, thinking about moving in. Not moving in yet. Oh yeah, this is more Harveys coming in. Tech 3 power, quantum gateways planned. And of course that's in case Blackheart recovers and gets Percy's. Here comes the Tech 2 flak. That's probably what Blackheart waited for. He wanted to get Tech 2 flag before he started the battle. He's not pulling it back for some reason. And Blackheart is going to win the air fight, but he did lose a couple Tech 2 mass extractors. Engineers for Aiton, taunting the enemy, are going to die. Harvey's waiting to attack. Yeah, those mongoose not faring very well against the Harvey. I'd love to see this Harvey's on patrol now as well. Reclaim the field. Here come the shields. Quantum gateway for Aiton, minute 18. Some scouts from Blackheart. He will see. He's actually going to see a couple Tech 2 mass extractors going to Tech 3. You will see Tech 3 power. You will see a lot of Tech 3 land, and I'm sure he saw this huge group of Harveys plus some snipers. So this is definitely very much exposed. Blackheart can easily lose all those expansions. He might be able to save his main base, although that's also questionable. Tech 3 land, Harveys or Percy's going up. Swift Wind's scouting. Let's see if these sniper bots can actually do something. Couple kills on them, but I guess they are a good counter to Tech 2 point defenses in this position. So when you're way ahead of somebody, sniper bots are a good choice. Adjutant under 2 shields, tech 2 ACU. He does have to worry about a snipe, but really EF doesn't have that many good sniping options besides... Well, maybe this force will just rush his ACU, but there are some tech 3 here standing by. More walls for Blackheart. And some Percys. Now if some Percys make it all the way to Adjutant's ACU, he could be in a bit of trouble. And looks like it's going to be patience for Adjutant. He's going to stand outside the range, or yep, that's what he's going to do. The defensive Harby and an Obsidian are going to be protecting the ACU. Adjutant will make tech 1 point defenses. More shields moving sideways, a lot of shields. And Adjutant actually is a bit exposed. This Harby is going to die. More shields. And this has been a very weak position for Adjutant the entire game. Finally gets attacked. Adjutant making a whole bunch of tech 1 point defenses. Harby's moving into position to attack. Sorry, Percy's. Harby's now moving in from Adjutant. He needs to stop any kind of production. He needs to end the game because Adjutant is under an assault here. And he is being targeted, but the shields should save him. Yeah, this is one thing that Aiton can do. Oh, he just walks across, goes under another shields, and the tech 1 point defenses will take care of the rest. Although these Percys are always a bit scary. Adjutant going down to 7,000 health. Yeah, those Percys are still alive. Harby's on the case. The Percy's getting hit a lot. Adjutant needs to get a shield to be protecting his ACU. And looks like that was the last Percy. 3,000. Yep, exactly. Blackheart saying he almost, the Adjutant almost managed to lose it. But he's not going to lose it now, because Blackheart has nothing left really to attack with. So great victory for Adjutant.